Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another deck profile on the channel. We have Zach here. Most of you know Zach from our progression series, but he also is a quite a good duelist. So he has been rocking it up with.
Unchained Fiendsmith. I think this deck is incredibly well positioned in this format. I think that with the non-engine that everyone's playing, especially being Droll and Fua, this deck has a very good matchup into those, as well as having a fantastic Malice matchup. And I have never lost a single game to Blue Eyes because you just pop the True Light.
Very true, and you're not just speaking because you like the deck. Obviously, we're both big Unchained players. I have been playing this deck a lot less, but you have been doing very good at locals lately.
Yeah, I think of my last like 7 locals or so. I've won like 5, and I've won 4 in a row
Yeah.
currently.
So definitely some meat behind what he's saying. So let's go ahead and get into the card by card. If you don't have anything else to mention.
Yeah, we'll start with the main deck here. So starting off playing one soul. I know this is a little bit contentious. Some people are cutting this, and I don't really know why. The main reason why I'm playing this is because of Fua. Under Fua, you want to be able to establish a board that is still able to do something, and this is a great way to turn like any of your floaters, that being a Ruha, in and a set escape, into 2 interruptions. So this right here, after Fua, is 2 interruptions, and it's very easy to get there. You've got Thrust that can set this, and you have Escape, or not Escape, you've got Prison that can search this, and there's a million different ways that you can get to a floater, so it's just a great way to be able to play under Fua. Fua is one of the only cards this deck can't play through, so we're trying to make it so that we can play under it very, very well. Abominable Unchained Soul is the best way to do that. After that, double Clifford should be at 3. Should have never gone to 1.
Bring back the Clifford, please.
Yes.
uh,
He did nothing wrong. He literally did nothing wrong.
yeah, it's so nice to have Clifford back at 2. I mean, it really does make a difference. The second copy really
Yeah.
does make a difference.
I don't think the deck would be playable without it. And there are times when I wish I had the third. Having 2 really does hinder the deck a decent amount.
Yeah.
It is the best starter in the deck.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's mainly because you want to get Shyama into rotation so that you can play through Nib easier. The second effect to optionally pop a spell trap comes up a lot in this format.
Yeah.
So don't forget it. He's great. Just not when I see him in my opener, like always.
I love how back in like AGOF format when we played the Blue Dog, it was so common to go like effect on field, and they would immediately imperm it or Veiler it or do something just to stop it because they thought it was a much better effect than it was.
It's still a crazy effect.
It is a really good effect, but they were so scared of that effect.
After that, triple Aruha. I am not playing the musket package. I think it's really bad this format. It just feels win more, and because of that, I'm focusing more on the Unchained cards, and that's why I'm playing triple Aruha. Because I'm playing more Unchained cards, I'm also playing Rakea. This card is crazy.
Yeah, it's a crazy card. This is unironically one of my favorite Unchained cards. It comes up so much. I play a much heavier Unchained build personally, and maybe that's why I don't see as good a success with it. Granted, I don't play it that much, but Rakia is like my favorite Unchained card. It comes up so much. It gets you out of so many sticky situations. Really, really amazing card.
Yeah, makes OTKs super easily.
Fun fact: Rakia and any other name is actually lethal.
After that, the card that you have to play in every Unchained deck, and that is Sarama.
Yep.
This is the best card on turn 3 because you can set a trap and then pop the trap, and then you're good to go. Mandatory 3 of is Prison.
Yep.
Card's crazy. Wrote it for literally any Unchained card, but it's not an Unchained card, which matters when you don't have a lot of the next cards, and those being the 2 of each trap. I know that some people are cutting down Escape to 1, and some are even cutting Chamber to 1. That is wrong. Here's why. Like I said, we're trying to play under Fua because we can't really play through it. Having the traps is the best way to do that. Plus, this makes the combo significantly more resilient, and that's why we're playing multiples of each. I've actually thought about bumping up the numbers a little bit, but I just couldn't find the space, and I was prioritizing non-engine.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem is like when you look at like a hand or like combos for Unchained, you really do want six of each or like six of the traps. But then you realize it takes up so much non-engine space. You're like, what do I do?
The Unchained cards are the best cards in the deck. Like, the musket thing is under the assumption that the Fiendsmith cards are the best cards in the deck, but that's wrong, because the Fiendsmith cards play into Droll, Nib, Imperm, Ash, Valor, like so many things. Whereas the Unchained cards play into like Ash, Imperm, and that's it.
Yeah. So it's very good into the hand trap suites that a lot of people are playing, especially considering a lot of people are cutting individual interactions like Imperm and Bestials. They're like, oh, it doesn't do enough. Well, that's good for this deck.
Yeah. Next up is the the Fiendsmith package, Triple Engraver, worst starter in the deck. It is a one card, whereas the rest of these are not one card, but this is a one card. But again, it plays into Droll, Imperm, Ash, Valor, Nib, just everything. And that's why, as well as the standard package of monsters, I'm playing 2-tracked. I would play 3 if I could afford it, but I'm not made of money. I want to see the tracked in the opener because so many times you just go Engraver, Droll on Resolution, and then you're like, okay. I thought about putting Sanct in, but Sanct isn't full combo, so.
Yeah. So real quick, I just want to talk about this. I think it's really funny. So when I first picked up the deck, especially after the Fiendsmith cards came out, well, not first. I played it during AGOT format, but once the Fiendsmith cards came out, and especially after Sharvara, the Red Dog, came back to 2, I was like, oh, we probably still play Tour Guide. And no, Engraver is just Tour Guide, but better now.
Granted, Tour Guide doesn't play into Droll as hard as Engraver does.
Yeah.
But like, this is honestly just extra consistency. That's all this package is. And because we're playing this package, we're of course playing the Paradise because it's just an interruption. Another thing is if you are Fua'd under this package, like you have the Luri on field and then they go Fua, you just make Requiem anyways because then you just make Lackery send Paradise, and you're good.
Yeah, you give them a draw, but it's fine.
You give them 1 draw, but that's significantly less than the rest of the decks in the format are giving them.
Very true.
Speaking of Fua, we are main decking Fua at 3. I honestly don't like it. I'm debating cutting it, but I don't know what I'd cut it for. Originally cut Imperms for this. Imperm feels so neg this format, but I've never had a Charmy resolve. And I've never been able to feel the rush of like, oh my gosh, Maxi. So it doesn't feel good.
Yeah, I mean, granted, that is kind of like one of the, I guess, air quotes, nice things about playing Fualos is when it does get ashed or like called by or cross outed, you know that they are probably not going to have another one, especially in terms of cross out, called by, or even talents. You know they're not going to have another one for your turn or for later on. It's like, okay, they've used it, and there's a good chance they didn't draw double ash. So if they ash the Fualos, then you're like, okay, well, they're not going to ash my Engraver, they're not going to ash my my prison or anything like that.
And because I said that this deck cannot play through Fua, we're playing a myriad of cards to just say no to Fua.
Yep.
Triple Ash and triple Droll. I'd play this even if Mitsurugi wasn't in the format. And I know that Droll plus Fua feels a little weird, but this is to out Fua. This is Fua. Explanation done. And that's it for the monster non-engine. After that, triple thrust. You have to play at least 2 thrust. 3 is optimal. If they Fua you, this is your best card. Because you can set a trap and then still have, like I said before, at least 1 to 2 points of interaction on their turn. Because we're playing thrust, we're also playing talent.
Yep.
I am not playing Prosp. I know a lot of people are. I don't like this card. Extra deck's really tight, and the deck's consistent enough as is. Like, you don't need this. I have never bricked with this deck.
Yeah, I wasn't even playing Prosperity in this deck before it got hit to 1, let alone after. This deck was always really consistent. It was just like, it was weak into the floodgate hand traps. That's all it ever was.
Yeah, it just doesn't need it. And even some of the floodgate hand traps don't do much. It was literally just Shifter.
Yeah, very
After
true.
that, triple Droplet. and one called by. Um, called by it's good. It's just another out to Fua basically. Droplet is the MVP. This card is crazy. It has single-handedly won me so many games. There was one game against Malice where I dropleted their A code and one of their links, and then I made an access code with their A code. And if I wasn't stupid, I would have been able to punch over their link monster that I had halved the attack of for 50 over lethal.
Ah,
But I forgot that I halved the attack, so I lost that game. Won the match though.
that's all that matters in the end. But yeah, Droplet is a
Exactly.
really good card this format. I've seen it in more and more deck lists as I look for it. Yeah.
Plus, Droplet can proc your red dog. It can
Yep.
get blue
Very
dog
true.
and grave. It's crazy. It's just an absurd card, and like
And you,
called by,
yeah,
like it can also dodge targeted interaction, which is the best part.
yeah.
Like,
Also, like I feel like there are definitely some board states where like activate escape chain droplet sending the escape. That must feel very good to do if it's come up.
oh yeah, yeah. There was a game I played yesterday where I got like hand trapped 3 times when I had very few starters. I was like just doing the engraver stuff because I had normal summoned Luri. Sequence got interrupted, but I was able to get to a Agnum Day, and I was like engraver beats with Agnum Day and Sequence attached, and then I set a droplet, and that won me the game.
I think that was
Droplet
against
sending the
me.
eclipse.
I think that might have been
No, no,
against
this was
me.
yesterday. This
Oh,
wasn't
was it?
against
Well,
you.
you did the same thing to me like this
Oh,
past week. So yeah, uh, Engraver is a Fiendsmith monster, so you can equip Agman Day
yep,
to it. So very important.
yep. But that's it for the main deck. It's 41 cards. I would not cut it down to 40 because there's a lot of cards you. I wouldn't say they're bricks except for Blue Dog. But there's a lot of cards you don't want to see.
Yeah,
And this just makes it so that you can see more of the power cards.
fair enough.
Now on to the extra deck, starting with the Fiendsmith cards. One Requiem because, yeah, it's pretty standard. One Sequence, one Agnum Day, one Aerial Leader. You need to play this because this bridges the gap between your Unchained and your Fiendsmith cards. One Neck per Equip. I like never summon this. It's just here because it sometimes comes up. And one Desiree. I also rarely summon this, and I also rarely send it with Paradise because usually access to Requiem on my opponent's turn is interrupted, so I'm not able to get the Desiree affecting Grave online. But it still is impactful because like it's making them interrupted.
Yeah,
So the threat of it is good. Also, don't know if there are any Master Duel players out there, but the Desiree mate looks terrible. I now hate how Desiree looks because he's got like a freaking axe chainsaw, and that's dumb. That's really stupid. It's like
that
some
is kind of
fifth
dumb.
grader, like, oh my gosh, my OC is so cool type stuff, and I'm not here for it. Moving on to the Unchained cards, double Yama, regardless of what you're playing, this is mandatory in Unchained. Double Rage, a lot of people are cutting this to 1, and I think that's incorrect.
I never understood why people were cutting Blue Dog.
So this is
Go for it.
chaos typing. Bestials are around. On top of that, Malice will just banish this. Play multiple.
Yeah, like maybe it was because I was like I played the deck a little bit weird compared to other people. I definitely went through my resources a lot quicker. But back in AGOV format, when I was playing this deck like nonstop, I actually had times where I wish I had the third Blue Dog. Like it came up that much. It is that good of a card. I never understood why people cut it.
Yeah, I don't know. After that, Anguish. Anguish, by far the going second MVP.
Yeah.
Like this deck is surprisingly good going second, and it's because of cards like Droplet, like Abominable Unchained Soul, and Anguish. These cards are crazy. And Anguish is super crazy, especially when paired with Access Code. I have a secret access code, but I'm using the gold one for BM. I was actually talking with someone about peeling the gold off just to make it extra BM.
Yeah, that's definitely a thing that happens with the gold rares.
It's
But
still tournament legal. It's just damaged.
That's really funny. Anyways,
And then the fiend target that I have for Anguish is a bow. I've literally never summoned a bow. I want to cut it, but there's like I can't think of another thing that's good. Like theoretically in grind games, this is better than the Unchained Link 4.
yeah, I was one of the first people who started cutting the Unchained Link for other things just because it came up so rarely, and everybody's like, but it's 3 pops, and I'm like, yeah, so is access code.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, Abaoku, insane card. It does feel like it was tailor made for well, Fiend decks in general, but it does feel like it was tailor made for this deck. It just is, yeah, you don't go into a Link 4 too often. More often than not, you're going like rage
Well, if
into
you go into a Link 4, it's going to be access code because this OTKs and makes sure that my opponent can't do any floating effects.
yeah, fair enough.
Like the amount of Druis worms and just Sangan type effects that I've said you cannot activate that because I made access code is crazy.
Yeah, very true.
But yeah, the whole thing about a bow is that it's really good with the IP, but we already play a better IP, so it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like a Fiend Link 4. That's why it's here.
It's a Link 4 you can make when you're under the Fiend lock, yeah. That's about all
Yeah,
it is.
exactly. That's literally it. Next up is SP.
You have to play this.
You have to play this. I was talking with someone and they were like, why don't you cut a bow for Nightmare Unicorn? So that if you're against Malice, you can shuffle back the Nightmare Unicorn. I'm like, because I want to have a Fiend Link 4, and Unicorn requires a discard,
Yep.
is only 1 point of removal,
Yep.
and is just not as good.
Yeah.
Like, SP is crazy.
Also,
you do this
Unicorn
most often when they splash mage, regardless of whether or not they've used their SP or whether or not they've used the effect of the guy that they're summoning back off splash mage. You can link summon with the one that they summon back and then banish the splash mage, or the other way around if they've already used the effect of that Malice monster.
Yeah.
This card is crazy, and you just have to be a little bit more careful about how you use it.
Yeah. Also, one real quick other point that I want to point out about playing Unicorn, it was the reason that I really didn't love it when I played this back in AGOV format, because we didn't have SP, was because it's a Link 3, you can't use it with Rage. You can't Rage into it unless they control a Link 2, which not a lot of decks play. Oh, every deck can play a Link 2, but not every deck does, and oftentimes they don't give it to you. Like, they don't let you just rage away their Link 2, so... but you can always rage into an SP. So that's just another point that I like to point out.
I'm pretty sure you can rage into Unicorn.
You can if they have a Link 2, but it requires to only use the monster that it targets. So.
But rage is a Link too, so it could count.
Oh, the red dog. What's the red dog? Anguish.
Oh, Anguish.
You can't Anguish into Unicorn. My bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. You can't Anguish into Unicorn unless they have a Link 2, because then you treat Anguish as a Link 1. And no.
This is mandatory, also pretty cheap right now, so if you don't have it, pick it up. This whole deck is honestly not that expensive, especially when compared with the likes of Malice and Mitsurugi Pure.
What, I'm guessing Thrust and Perulia are the most expensive cards that you need a playset of?
Thrust, it's the Fiendsmith stuff, and then it's Thrust. Like, those are the most expensive stuff. And you don't even need Fua. Like, I'm considering just fully cutting Fua from the list.
Yeah, that's fair.
Last card is Caesar, because of course it's Caesar. This deck shits out sixes like nobody's business. So
we get to play Caesar, yay!
Yay! As for the side, I am on triple Nib, triple Chaos Hunter. I don't want to cut this card because it's a Fiend, which matters, and also because it's a Fiend, theoretically, I've never done this, but theoretically,
get out of back.
If I already have access to the Unchained stuff, I can Area Leader send this, and then either special summon it back off of Yama, or add it back off the pop effect of Rage or Anguish.
That's really funny.
Theoretically. Never done it, and I probably never will, but...
Theoretically, yeah.
Next up is Lancia. Regardless of if you play Chaos Hunter, you're gonna need to play Lancia. Like,
yeah.
I don't think that Malice is a real deck because of these cards. I don't think the deck is weak. I think it's very, very strong, and I respect it. That's why I am playing these 9 cards. Next up is the 2 that I'm probably going to cut. I'm siding Aggregator and Ulti Slayer. I sided it in once in like my entire locals experience with this deck so far, and I never saw it. Like, I wasn't able to get to the Ulti Slayer. I'm probably gonna just put in Lightning Storms. I originally cut Lightning Storms for some other stuff, but it was like, I don't know. I don't love Lightning Storm this format. I know that a lot of people do, but I just don't think it's very good. Like, yes, it can bait out an Accode effect, but a lot of Malice players aren't playing Accode anymore because it plays harder into interruptions. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I love this card. I don't know. I definitely don't love these cards, and I'm going to cut them for something. I just don't know if it's going to be Lightning Storm or something else.
That's fair.
After that is Duster.
Yep. Thrust target.
Yeah, it's just a thrust target. It's a crazy thrust target, and it's just great. The games, when you see it, it's crazy. Next, I'm playing Mischief of the Gnomes and D-Barrier. I'm thinking of cutting the Gnomes for something else. I'm thinking of also just siding Perulia, and if I did do that, I would put Mischief in, take Mischief out in these 2.
Makes sense.
I'm also thinking of like siding just another thrust target that is more versatile, like maybe evenly matched in this slot. And then I'm playing Sanctum.
Yep. You gotta play Sanctum. Almost every extra deck, or extra deck, every side deck now has Sanctum, Lancia, and Thrusts in it. But you're maining Thrust because you get to main Thrust.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
I'm also considering siding some Bystials, but I don't love that idea. They're bodies, but they don't really convert into much. You have to be very careful because Yama requires Fiends, but the other ones are generic. It's just like, I don't know. I don't really like Bystials this format. I really don't believe in Crow. I know that a lot of people are siding it, and I just don't see the purpose. Like, yes, you can hit Mitsurugi as well, but it feels way too low impact.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
Alrighty. Yeah. Any closing thoughts? Any shout outs?
I think that with the right pilot, this deck can beat any deck in the room. This deck is crazy. I would play it hands down over Malice and probably over Mitsurugi because I think Mitsurugi is really boring. You have to be very careful with your sequencing. And be careful about the Fiendsmith stuff because it does play hard into Droll, and a lot of people are playing Droll. And it will not side out Droll against you. Do not expect them to side Droll against you. Or side it out. Like, they're going to have it in the main, they're going to keep it in the main because they know you're playing the Fiendsmith stuff. So play your Unchained cards because they're better than the Fiendsmith cards.
Fair enough. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, all that stuff, and we'll catch y'all in the next one. Peace!